Okay, here's the first real test. Playing against Faie. Wait, where'd the music go? Oh, there it is. Opening hand's good. Turn 1 Pyro on the play, that's really strong. Turn 2, one of these is good. Don't really need this. I think Rocket Optera is better than Void Hunter when you're going first. So we can ship that and maybe hold on to the Bright Moss Golem. Gauntlet was great during the rotation. Oh, when the Shimzar cards left. Oh yeah, no more pets. That's quite nice actually. Any thoughts about the Death's Advocate ban list? Did you check it? I don't think I've actually seen that one. Would you mind linking it? I can give you my thoughts then. I've seen one or two other people's ban lists, but not DA's. Constructor is way cleaner, but Gauntlet requires something different of the players. Yeah, that's kind of what I think. Gauntlet tests your fundamentals in a way that Constructed doesn't necessarily. Like, your results get masked much more by things like matchup dynamics and whether your deck is any good and what rank you are on the ladder. In Gauntlet, you learn so much about how to place your units correctly. When, like, you don't have Lava Slashers, you just have these. But if you put them in the right place, it's kind of the same thing, almost. Oh, thank you. No pets and way fewer ranged minions. Don't tell my deck that. I've apparently have a lot of them. Oh boy. Okay, well this is a good start. We get to play Elkal in their face, I guess. That's not very exciting. Let's replace something expensive. We can hopefully go 5 into 5 here. Does Elkal do anything good? Rebirth and flying. That's okay. I'm going to use... So I can keep Pyro in the center where opponent can threaten units on the monotiles. Or I can take and take 2 damage and shoot them for 2 damage. Or I can save 2 health in the Warbird matchup. I have kind of a bad feeling this is about to get Hearth-sisted actually, because they made this Warbird and didn't even activate it. So it probably doesn't matter. So I think I'm going to save myself the life. Right, let's have a look at this DA ban list. Ooh, we're near the bottom of the thread. No? Is there a way to scroll? Oh, there we go. Holy moly, this is a huge ban list. They have not... they have not killed this, but they have developed a good-sized minion. That's fine by me. Rebirth and flying. I might park this in a corner. In fact, I can use it to play Starfire Scarab somewhere awkward. Like... there? Where's best? So I think this is going to go face for 2 and tempt the Primus Shieldmaster to go towards it. Let's ship this. Yeah, fine. And at the same time, we want to put the Scarab somewhere useful. Ideally, somewhere where I can shoot this. But I don't really want my opponent to be able to hit it and kill it with something like Cryogenesis. So I guess it would have to be there. Or like here, I guess. Actually, that's a good one. And then this can just go and sit in a corner. So we're super spread out. Relatively safe from AoE. And my opponent doesn't have a coherent direction to move in. I don't know if you're familiar with how Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links manages bans, but the limit cards on a ban list only have 1 or 2 mechs in your deck. Yeah, some Magic formats have a mechanic like that. My favourite ban list system actually is from a Magic format called Canadian Highlander, where they don't have a ban list, they have a points list, and there's cards that cost a certain number of points, and you can only have a certain number of points in your deck total. So you can play some of the banned cards, but not all, and some cards are more points than others. Yeah, see, this is good, because my opponent's now trying to decide which one to kill. Very helpful. It's more like everybody could suggest their suggestion, and DA made some sort of compendium. Oh, I see, that makes sense. But let's just look at this list. We have Mithron Wanderer, Adjudicator, Decimus, Grimes. Egmorph and Wild Inceptor are banned from specifically Ragnora. Kanumkar, Juxtaposition, Crescent Spear, Lucent Beam, Gold Vitriol. Malicious Wisp and Underlord Zorzal would apparently be on a watch list. Oh, interesting. Other cards for a watch list: Grand Strategos, Sanswell Reader, Alabaster Titan. So this bans nothing from Fault except for Kanumkar, so I can't get on board with that at all. Fault is really, really, really strong. Really, really strong. Like, it can be countered by aggro, but not that much. It's a very powerful deck. Consistently does powerful things. So I think banning Ray, if you're going to do a ban list, banning Ray is a must, in my opinion. I honestly haven't thought much about bans myself. Like, I kind of like the meta. Like, yeah, there are top decks and they're a bit annoying, but like, it's not as though there aren't decks that counter them, and there's a number of top decks. Like, there's some flexibility there. I quite enjoy that. I should probably figure out what I'm doing this turn. I'm thinking about bouncing this with Sanswell Reader. It does allow my opponent to reposition it though, so maybe that's actually unwise. Maybe I should just like do this. Yeah, you know what? Just good pressure. Keep it up. DA's ban list seems all over the place and too large of a card list. I think I agree with that, and I think there's one very obvious omission, which is Fault. People banning Adjudicator and Decimus. I've seen this on other ban discussions as well. I think that's an interesting idea. I think that I think people's general plan is like, well, we should ban these cards that basically lead to unfun experiences. You know, Decimus is a card that only does like fine type things. I might get Thunderhorn next turn and lose the game. That would be sad. Annoyingly, Slow is going to attack this and block the Bright Moss Golem from hitting it, which is really irritating. Well played of my opponent there. Yeah. I mean, Slow itself has provoked, so that's not the worst thing ever. I still don't really hate bouncing this, mind either. That seems strong now, actually. We come here, go face, probably attack this as well. Bounce the Primus. Try not to play into Thunderhorn too much. I wonder if there's anything I can do about that. Don't think there is. If this goes here, I can put the Sandswell like there. They can put T-Horn here, and still will come this way and kill all of these, or we'll go this way and hit this. If I go there, I meant to move forward, but I was slightly too slow. I think a ban list should hit only the top decks by banning very few cards. Yeah. I think it's worth considering which decks come up when you ban, and whether the meta that comes in instead of the ban list is actually better. So there's this awkward thing where, as I kind of understand why people want to ban stuff like Decimus and Adjudicator, because if you ban out the really good decks, the tier 2 contains a lot of unpleasant stuff like Mantra and Dessa Spikes and these sort of like Drogon Varth and stuff. These decks that are not particularly fun to play against. But I think the funness is it's probably a bit too subjective. Like, provided the meta allows for there to be decent counterplay, you can have fun and interesting games against all these decks. Like, I quite enjoyed the 4 damage Entropic Gaze days. I played with and against Burnhorn in those days, and I thought it was quite interesting how the Starhorn deck would dig you to your answers. Now, I think Decimus didn't exist initially, so it was like this was like the Rancor Burnish deck, but I enjoyed the gameplay of that format. I thought oh, my opponent's disconnected completely. That sucks. Are they dead? No, because I played around too much stuff. Burst? No. If I'd been able to move down in time, they'd be dead. Ban every good card in the game. Back to basics. It's not a terrible idea. That's where Gauntlet comes in, right? Yeah, fair. But